Okay, we're going to start in the Gemara at Daf Aleph on days 51b, right at the Gemara after the Mishnah. So it starts like this: Tana Rabbanan. Whatever we did in the Mishnah yesterday will be repeated somehow or mentioned. It was taught in the Bais. These are the things that are different between Beisil and Beishamai. At a meal. Beishamai says, Mavarech Aliyim, Brachakach Mavarech Alayayin. First you say the bracha on the day. That would be, like in Kiddush, for example, you would say, Mekadesh Shabbos, and Kiddush on Shabbos. In the Yom Tov, you would say, Mekadesh Yisrael Vazmanim. And then you say, Bari Priagafim. Then you'd say Bari Priagafim. And Beisil says the opposite. But Beishamai says, why is it that you say first the Kiddush, and then you say the Agafen? It says, Shahayoim Gerim Liyayin Sheyavai. Because why are you drinking this wine? Because it's Shabbos or Yom Tov. This cup is being drunk. I mean, you can drink wine whenever you want. But this cup is being drunk specifically because it's Shabbos, so we have to mention Shabbos. That's what we do first. And another reason, the Kvar Kiddush Hayom. And it's Shabbos already before you started saying Kiddush. So what came first, the Shabbos or the wine? Shabbos came first at Tzeiser Kechavim when the 3 stars came out. Now it's a little while after that. So first you bless the Shabbos that came in first, and then you say the blessing. Vadayin Yayin Leba. Okay, so 2 reasons. One because it's the cause, and one because of the time. Beisil says, first you say the bracha on the wine, and then you say the Kiddush, Mekadesh Shabbos. Why? Shahayayin Gerim L'Kedusha Shetiyamar. Because why are you saying Kiddush? Because of the wine. Otherwise, you were Yaitz already in Shemon Esrei.
Kiddush on the challah.
Yeah, and the challah is in place of the wine. It's the wine or the challah. Right? So, but the real Kiddush Midayrais is that you were already Yaitz in Shemon Esrei, you said Mekadesh Shabbos. Why are you doing it again? Because they said that you say Kiddush Zachrei Alayayin. That's only because of the wine. It's this rabbinic Kiddush. So that's just because of the wine. So the wine is what's causing you to say the bracha of Kiddush, Mekadesh Shabbos. You say the wine first. Davar Acher, another pshat. Brachos Yayin Tedira. What's more common? Wine is more common. Brachos Yayin Tedira. Shabbos is only once a week. Wine could be every day, several times. I don't know. And Tada V'Shena Tada Tada Kedem. And what's more common comes first. What's more frequent comes first. That we learned from the Karbanis. That the Karban Musaf comes after the Karban Tamid Shachar. We learned that the Tamid always comes before. That's a Gemara. Okay, the Gemara says, V'alacha kedibur Beisila. V'alacha is like Beisila. That's going to be a problem, because that's stating the obvious. It's going to be a problem. My davar acher. Why did Beisila have to tell me another pshat? Beisila said 2 things. First of all, that the wine is the cause, and also because it's more frequent. Why do they have to say because it's more frequent? Maybe we could say Beishamai gave me 2 reasons. Beisila only gave me 1 reason. So the Beisila also has 2 reasons. The wine is frequent than the Kiddush, and what's more frequent and less frequent, you always do the more frequent one first. Okay, now the Gemara asks, Halacha Kedivur Beisila Pshita. Seems obvious. Halacha Kedivur Beisila, the Nafka Baskal. There was a Gemara that said that the Baskal came out. It's a Gemara Erevin. The Baskal came out and said that the halacha is always going to be like Beisila. Why? It says because they were more humble or whatever. But I'm sorry. That was another. That we'll see in a moment. So that's going to be an answer to this. So why do we have to say halacha Beisila? We have a Baskal that says a Baskal is a voice from heaven. It came out that the halacha is like Beisila. Iba Yisei Makaidim Baskal. Say that this Mishnah predates the Baskal. This is an early Mishnah, and And we said halacha k'beisel before we had the baskel. Before then, it wasn't so clear. And Iba Yisema, another pshat is lacher baskel. No, this is a later Mishnah. Rabbi Yeshua, this is the opinion of Rabbi Yeshua. The Amar ein mashkich lebaskel. He said that we don't trust, we don't pay attention, mashkiach. We don't pay attention to the baskel. And now he said this when there was an argument between the sages and Rabbi Eliezer ben Hyrcanus regarding the Tanur Achna, if it's tummy or not. And Rabbi Eliezer said, let the voice from heaven come and say, and the voice comes out and says, don't argue with Rabbi Eliezer, everything he says is correct. Yeshua says the Torah is not in heaven. They mashkifim b'baskel. You don't listen. Look at this. You don't listen to the baskel. Rabbi Yeshua says you don't listen to a baskel. We have another baskel that says that you paskin like Bais. Rabbi Yeshua doesn't listen to that baskel. So that's why our Mishnah has to say halacha Bais. The baskel for Rabbi Yeshua isn't enough. Comes out that even Rabbi Eli in that machlekes, Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, Rabbi Eliezer is considered shamuti. He's considered a follower of Shammai. Rabbi Yeshua was the one that's like the strong adherent to Bais Hillel. Comes out that even though he's that strong adherent to Bais Hillel, but he doesn't have the baskel that says you have to paskin like Bais Hillel. You still have to have a statement that says halacha Bais Hillel. Okay. The Sabri Beishamai the Brachos Adifa. Beishamai holds that the Kiddush comes first. The Kiddush is better. Takes precedence. But Tanya, let me just mention one point over here. Taisa says, yeah, this Taisus is in every time this mentions Taisus repeats this concept that even though we mashkich from the baskel, but we still go like Bais Hillel because that's a baskel that doesn't go against the majority. That's a baskel that goes along with the majority. Baskel that goes against the majority is a different story. Then, over the majority. Yeah. Taisus over here says that whenever it comes to Kiddush or Havdalah, we always say very Gafen, and then we say the Kiddush, the Havdalah. That means we're saying the Gafen, we're pausing. Not pausing, we're delaying the drinking of the wine till we finish the next blessing. That's the opinion of Bais Hillel. The question is, what about benching? Benching, if you hold that Brachos Hamazon requires a kaisel bracha, you have to bench on a cup. According to Bais Hillel, the way that seemingly should be done is you say Bari Gafen, you bench, and then you drink the cup of wine. That would be symmetrical, parallel to the way we do it by Kiddush and Havdalah. That you say the wine, and then you say the bracha. The Tosfos says that you can't do that for benching, because when you take that pause in between, there's no problem to take the pause. You say the hagafen, and you delay the drinking of the wine until after the Kiddush or Havdalah. That's not a real interruption between the wine and the drinking of it. But when you say a Brachos Hamazon after you drink, after you say the Bari Gafen, you're then canceling all the eating that you're doing. And then how can you say how can you just go ahead and drink the wine when you've just said a Brachos Hamazon on any food that you're eating, and you have to say new brachas afterwards? So he says Brachos Hamazon is a problem. You can't. It's impossible to say the bracha before and drink after Brachos Hamazon. That's Tosfos over here. Now, if you want some complications, how does that work with Sheva brachas? Why? You say Brachos Hamazon, and then you're at a wedding or a Sheva brachas. When are you supposed to say the bracha on wine according to Bais Hillel? Always before you say the other brachas. So for benching, I understand. I have to say it afterwards, because if I say it before, the benching cancels the Bari Pregofen. But the Sheva Brachas, I could say benching, say Bari Pregofen, and don't drink until after the 7 blessings. That's what we do at the wedding, right? You say Bari Pregofen, say 7 blessings, and then the Chas and Kala drink. With a pause, with the delay from the Bari Pregofen. So why don't we do that by the Sheva Brachas by benching? It must be that benching and Sheva Brachas becomes one long benching, and that's why I do it beforehand, right? Because benching that's why I have to do it afterwards. I can't do the Bari Pregofen before because benching interrupts. That would make sense. That would be a good answer. The only problem is that if benching and Sheva Brachas is one, becomes one, so then why do we have 2 cups? See, we have 2 cups at a Sheva Brachas. If you would have 1 cup, then it would make sense. 1 cup, 1 bench. You follow? So that becomes like a little complex. The 2 cups throws off the whole thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
There's a Brit, Chris, and one just coming down at 9. Does that mean we don't do Tachnun?
No, you do say the Tachnun unless the father or the Sandik or the Mayalat, yeah. Unless it's in the same location. So your bris is a good example. You say the bracha on the wine, and then you say the bracha on the bris, and you drink afterwards. And you say that whole Kiddush you didn't read that time, right? There's a second blessing, and you drink. That's a proof to Bais. That's following Bais. The Gemara asks, Beishamai holds that you say the blessing on the day first, V'hatanya, but we have a Bais. Nichnas l'beis of Mitzvah Shabbos. Someone comes home Mitzvah Shabbos. The Baruch Halayayin says the bracha on the wine. Valamar, it says on the fire. Valabsamim says on the spices. And then he says Havdalah. Okay, well, he's saying the wine first. He only has 1 cup. This is the opinion that holds that Brachos Hamazon requires a cup of wine. So what are you going to do? You have 1 cup of wine, and you need it for benching, and you need it for Havdalah. So it says what you do is you eat before Havdalah. You have a meal.
Cannot eat before.
But here you only have 1 cup, and you cannot bench, you can't eat without a cup of wine. If you say Havdalah, you can't eat, according to this opinion. So what you're going to do is, you're going to eat before Havdalah, and Mishalstam Kol Achar, you're going to say the whole thing together after that 1 cup of wine is going to get benching, and it's going to get Havdalah with the candles and everything.
I saw it done by Rabbi Posner, Rabbi Shalom. I was mistaken about what I said before, but now he was this benching and left it after the Ket Amazon, then do Havdalah, and then he's.
But you leave the cup. Yeah, that's the custom. You bench on the cup. You bench by Shalosh Shadas. You put the cup. No, they don't taste it. They put the cup aside. They don't say Bari Pregofen. They put the cup aside, and then they make Havdalah and they drink that cup of wine. That's the custom that they do. Unless there's a Sheva Brachas, then everyone argues about what to do. That's the minute. Okay.
Can you eat before Arvid, in between Mincha and Arvid, and then?
You mean on a Shabbos?
Right.
On Shabbos, you have a problem. Then if it's before Shkia, then you eat Shalosh Shudas. If it's after Shkia, then there's some complications. If you wash, it's okay. But after Ma'ariv, for sure, you have to wait for Havdalah. The question is like this. You see what's going on over here? You say the wine first. Beishami says you say the blessing first. You say the Havdalah first. It says you say the wine first. The Gemara says 1 second. But me mind the Beishami, do Bais Eily. Doesn't say it's Beishami. Maybe it's Bais Eily. The Gemara says Leisal Kedai. You can't say that. It has to be Beishami. Iktani mar v'achakach b'samim. Because it says first you do the candle and then you do the spices. Man shamat le'dislei haisvara Beishami. Beishami says you do the candle before the spices. See? It's Beishami. And you say the Havdalah after the wine. You say the wine before the Havdalah. Okay. Tanya, as it was taught in the Bais, Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, like Nechtaku Beishamai, Beisil Alamas and Shabbat Filav Alam Abdallah Shabbat. Rabbi Yehuda says like this: Machlekes Beishamai and Beisil is not regarding if you say Brachos Hamazon first. This is talking about when you have the meal before Abdallah, and that you have Abdallah on the end. Alman Nechtaku. What is the whole Machlekes Beishamai Beisil? It's such a small, minuscule Machlekes. It's just about this little small detail. The big things they agree to. It's only about the candle and the spices. Bishami says you do the candle first and then the spices. That's what we do. The spices and then the candle. See? The Bais is Bishami. Gemara says, you said that it's Beishamai, and it's according to Rabbi Yehuda. Yeah. You said it's Beishamai, and it's according to the opinion of way Rabbi Yehuda learns the Machlekes Beishamai and Beisila. By the way, I have a Mishnah, our Mishnah, that learns the Machlekes Beishamai and Beisila different. Vilma Beisila, Rabbi Meir. Maybe it's really Beisila, and it's going according to Rabbi Meir. In other words, Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. Let's do this on the chart. Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, they argue, what is the Machlekes Beisil and Beishamai? So according to Rabbi Yehuda, Beisil and Beishamai agree that you always say Brachos Hamazon first, and you say Havdalah at the end, and they argue about that little detail of spices or candle, which one comes first. But according to Rabbi Meir, Machlekes is different. The Machlekes is the Havdalah and the wine, that whole thing. Maybe it's Dilma Beisil Hivalibid Rabbi Meir. Maybe it's the opinion of Beis Hillel. And Beis Hillel says you say the blessing on the wine, and then you say the blessing on the day. That the Brachos that we said. Okay. The Gemara says Leisal Kadaitach. You can't say that. The Tani Hacha b'Mas Nisan. Over here it says in our Mishnah, Beishamai Yomrim. Beishamai says Ner Umazain B'Samim V'Havdalah. Beishamai says you say the candle first, yes, but then you bench. So you do the candle before benching. Then you do the spices. And you do Havdalah at the end. Basil says, Ner B'Samim, candle, spices, Mazin Havdalah, benching and then Havdalah. In the Brisa, Basan B'Brisa Katani, and the Brisa says, mainly Ala Kaisechen, Minich Alachar Mazin, Mashal Shlom Kul Lachra, that you do the benching first. Can't be Rav Meir. No opinion according to Rav Meir goes like that Brisa. Shema Mina, must be the Beishamai Hivaldi with Rabbi Yehuda, must be the opinion of Beishamai. According to Rabbi Yehuda, if that's the case, you call Makam Kasha. You have a problem. Because that Brisa says that you do the wine before the Havdalah. Gemara answers, Kasabri Beishamai. Beishamai holds, listen to this answer. When does Beishamai say that you do the blessing first and then you do the wine later? That was by Kiddush. Shani Yaima Me'afuka Yaima. There's a difference between the day coming in and the day going out. That means Shabbos coming in or Shabbos going out. Yula Yaima Kamad Maktin Layadif. Better to say the Kiddush as Shabbos is coming in. Say Mekadosh or Shabbos earlier. Afuka Yaima. But the Shabbos going out, Kamad Maktin Layadif. You delay the Havdalah later. And you say the wine first. Yehechid Leilahavilan Kamase. So that Shabbos should not look like a burden. Now it makes sense because in the Mishnah that says that Beishamai says you say first on the day and then on the wine. That's Kiddush. The Brisa that says that you say the wine first and then Havdalah afterwards. That's Havdalah. Because you want Shabbos to last longer. Come in earlier and last longer.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mashiach will come sooner.
Okay.
Thank you.
Savri Beishamai. This whole story was because this whole brisa was because we needed a cup of wine for benching. Savri Beishamai Brachos Hamazon, the Bracha Tunakais, that you need a cup for benching. But we have a Mishnah that says our Mishnah. The Mishnah said that if wine comes, wine comes after the meal, after he's finished eating. He didn't bench yet. If he only has one cup of wine, Beishamai says you can drink the wine. And Basil says no. Bishami says you drink the wine and then bench. Yisrael says that you have to bench and drink the wine. It sounds like that you leave the wine for benching. That's what it sounds like. And the words of Bishami where you say the blessing on the wine and then you bench. The Gemara here understands it to mean my love, the mavarech alo v'shasila, that you say the blessing and you just drink it. It means you don't need a cup for Brachos Hamazon. The Bais you just established as Beishamai, which is talking about that you need a cup for Brachos Hamazon. You need a cup of wine to bench. You see clearly in the Mishnah, Beishamai holds you don't need a cup of wine to bench. If you have one cup of wine, you drink it before benching. The Gemara says like, Mavarech elavei u'manachlei. It says that you say the blessing on it and you leave it and you'll bench later. But it says you say a blessing, you have to taste it. It says the time like you taste it. If you taste it, you make it pugum. You can't use it for benching. It says the time like biyadei. He doesn't actually drink with his mouth. He drinks with his finger. If it's still over a little bit, he takes the taste. But if you're taking away from some of the wine, then you're losing the amount of wine. It needs to be full. It needs to be the right. Well, it needs to be the right amount.
What does it mean he tastes with his finger?
I guess he lets it go on his finger and he tastes it then.
Like dumps like that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So now it
You're not
says
supposed to
no,
taste it, but
he's
the
not
word
pagan. He's not pagan the wine by drinking from it. So it says vakapachas le'mishiure, but you're losing the measurement. It says the nafish latvei mishur. That was a big cup. It had more than a revius, so it's not a problem. What are you saying? The Bais clearly said he only has one cup. You're telling me he has more. The Gemara says, Shrei lehavi. Yeah, he only had one. He didn't have two. Umechad nafish, but he had more than one. Means, yeah, he didn't have two cups. He had one cup, but it was a larger cup than the share. He was able to taste a little bit. But Tani Rabbi, well, 1 second. We have a brisa from Rabbi that says, Bishamai drink says you drink the cup of wine and then you bench. Doesn't need a cup. Mine says there's two Tanaim that argue about what's the opinion of Bishamai. Rabbi holds that you drink it first. And our brisa, probably the Mishnah, hold that you leave the cup for after Brachos Hamazon and you bench. You say the bracha and then you bench. And you drink it after.
If there was no, I know it's not a halakha, but if there was no wine, they can make Abdullah on the Chamor ben Medina, right?
Yes.
Chamor.
Yeah, Chamor.
Thank you.
Would that totally change these opinions? Because now one would apply to Abdullah, but the other.
But Brachos Hamazon, I don't know if there's Brachos Hamazon on Chamor Medina. I never heard of that.
Saying, wouldn't. So that exclusion probably you can't apply these.
Right. I don't know if there's Chamor Medina on Brachos Hamazon.
There isn't. I mean, as far as
Right.
The question, the old, before, whenever in the old days they do RV before, after Havdalah?
No. Oh, in these cases, when they do Ma'ariv, either way. Either in the middle, or after.
Because I'm saying,
Because they would have a meal that would go
they do RV
before.
to
Right.
make it, to stretch it.
Right.
I was wondering if they did it differently before.
Right. It could have been done differently.
what's your cutoff for old days?
Okay. Beishamai Yomim. So we're going to have two or three sugis here that are associated with Tumah and Tara. So brace yourself. Beishamai says, Tana Rabbana. Start in a brace. Beishamai Yomim Nikli Yadayim Achkach Moisim Esakais. Beishamai says, first you wash your hands. Then you pour the cup of wine. It's like Kiddush. Usually we make Kiddush. We wash our hands and we have bread. Right? Shami says no. You have to wash your hands before you take the cup of wine. Why?
So it once, it was in Orlando. It was at one of the restaurants. He was washing his hand, make Yiddish, and then right away make a motz. I don't know what is the custom now.
In I think Frankfurt, they would do it like that. Yeah, I've been to houses like that.
Sure. Oh, they wash before
Yeah.
the Kilos Yudanos.
Right.
And
Washington
works.
Heights.
With work, they don't consider it.
Wherever.
you wash again before Hamotzi?
No.
No, it's
No.
good.
Wash.
It's good.
It's convenient for the Seder. Everyone has to get up all of those time. But and it's not it's not the rest of the world's custom. But here, what's the reason for Beis Shammai? If you say that you pour the cup of wine first, because later there's a decree, maybe there's a little bit of liquid outside the cup from his hands. Not from his hands. There's liquid outside the cup. And what he's going to do is his hands are not clean. He's going to end up touching the liquid that's outside the cup. Hands that aren't clean are considered shniyas. Those are secondary levels of tumah. There's a decree that a sheni latuma can make mashkin into a tchila, can make liquid into a one. It goes backwards by liquid. It's a gezerah. It has to do with tumah of a zav. That's a serious tumah. So there's a decree that liquids could become a tchila, a rishon. The yachsavi tamas hakais, and then the cup is going to become tamei. The Gemara asks, so what is Beis Shammai's solution? Wash your hands first, so that your hands are clean and you don't make the liquid tamei, which would make the cup tamei. Well, it says 1 second. The yatama yadav lakais. Why did you say that it might touch the liquid, and the liquid would make the cup tamei? Let his hands make the cup tamei. It says no. Yadayim shniyas. Your hands are a sheni. Bein a sheni is a shlishi b'chulin. Hands that are sheni can't make a shlishi. There is no shlishi anyway by chulin, especially not a vessel. There is no shlishi. Okay, so it's only through the liquid. Basil says first you pour the wine and then you wash your hands. Because if you say you wash your hands first, there's a decree that maybe the liquid on his hands is going to become tamei because his hands are still moist. And his wet hands that he just washed his hands. He dried them, but they still could be a little moist, a little wet, and they may become tamei from the cup. And his hands are going to become tamei again. He's just touching cups. He washed his hands, and then he goes ahead and touches cups. His hands are going to get tamei. The Gemara says 1 second. But why doesn't the cup, if it's tamei, why doesn't it make his hands tamei? It says, "Ein keli mitami adam." A vessel can't make a person tamei. So 1 second. Why doesn't the inside of the cup be tamei? Why isn't all his food tamei? It says, "Hacha bekeli shenit macher b'mashkin maskinan." Here we're talking about that the cup, only the outside of the cup is tamei, not the inside of the cup. This is a special type of tumah, a rabbinic tumah, that if the outside of the cup got wet with mashkin, so it's the whole cup doesn't become tamei, just the outside of the cup, but the inside of the cup could still be used for things that are pure. So we have a concern now. The outside of the cup is tamei. His hands are wet. He's going to touch the outside of the cup. His hand is the liquid that's on his hands, the moisture on his hands from washing is going to become tamei from the outside of the cup. It's going to make him back tamei. He's going to have to wash again. So, the inside is pure, the outside is tamei. The Tanan was taught in the Mishnah. A vessel that the outside became tamei because of liquids. It's a rabbinic tumah that goes on the outside of a vessel. And the outside is tamei. The inside, the yad of Torah, and all the handles and all these other things are going to be pure. However, if the inside of the cup became tamei, that's a different story than nitma kula. Okay, the Gemara summarizes what's going on over here. But my commitment. So, what in the end is the machlekes Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel? What is going on? The Gemara explains like this: Beis Shammai sabri asel lishtamish bekeli shnit macher b'mashkin. Beis Shammai says Beis Hillel's whole concern is that the cup is tamei. You just wash your hands are going to become tamei. Beis Shammai's concern, that was Beis Hillel's concern, that the cup is tamei, you wash your hands. So therefore, Beis Hillel says, don't wash your hands before, wash your hands after you drink. Beis Shammai's concern was that you're if you don't wash your hands before, then your hands are going to make the cup tummy through the liquid that's on the cup. So Beis Shammai says like this, that a cup that was tummy, that's Beis Hillel's concern, you're not allowed to use anyway. So your hands aren't going to become tummy after you wash them because the cup has to be pure. So Beis Shammai said, you're not allowed to use a cup like that. Why aren't you allowed to use a cup like that? Because there's a concern that it may spill over and spill back in. If the back is tummy, so Beis Shammai says those cups are out. You can't use those cups. Okay, now you don't have a concern that maybe your hands are gonna become tummy. You don't have a concern that maybe your hands are gonna become tummy from the cup. Basil says, says you're allowed to use a cup like that. That's the outside is tummy. Now you have a concern that your hands are going to become tummy again after you wash. Why do they hold that you're allowed to use a cup like that? Just a cup that the outside is tummy, the inside not. Amri, they say you don't have a concern that it's going to spill out and spill back in. So therefore, a cup like that is good. What is your concern? Maybe your hands are going to become tummy from those types of cups that Basil holds you're allowed to use. Another shot. So says that we want you to right away after washing begin the meal. Okay. My davaracha. Why do we have this other interpretation?
I should worry about their lips that are on the outside of the cup touching it. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, well, what would happen? Lips, according to Beis Hillel, I don't know. If it's dry, if his lips are dry, then the cup can't make him tummy. The cup is a sheni. There is no shlishi. What's it going to do? It's going to make this maybe saliva. Is saliva considered one of the liquids? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe that's an answer. I don't know. So, do you have a comment there?
I know, I'm asking.
It's a good question. My davaracha. This is what Beis Hillel tells Beis Shammai. According to you, that you say that you're not allowed to use a cup, that the back is tamei. That you say that there's a concern using a cup, that it may spritz back from the back of the cup back into the inside. Maybe that's Beis Shammai's opinion. That from the drinking, maybe it will spritz back. Afilo hachi ha'adifa. Nevertheless, it's still better to follow my opinion to take it from Netilas Yadayim Suda. In other words, Beis Hillel is saying, even according to your opinion, that you don't have the same concerns that I have, but nevertheless, you should still wash afterwards so that you're able to have the meal right next to the washing. Beis Shammai says that you wipe your hands on a towel and you put the towel on the table. A napkin. Beis Hillel says you have to put it on the chair. Taner Rabbanan was taught in a Bais. Beis Shammai say Shammai say that you put the napkin on the table. Because if you'll say that you put the towel on the chair, and today you put the napkin on your lap, but they have. Do you put it on the table? Or machlekes Beis Hillel Beis Shammai? Do you put it on the chair?
Disposable. They have the real.
Just like restaurants or whatever. At a certain age, you can tuck it in.
Ooh.
So maybe this is a stupid question, but instead of worrying about all this outside of the cup, it's on the can you just wash it again?
We will not wash. Mix them. You put it in the mikveh.
Right, so.
So
You want to eat, you don't want to go.
that's the machlekes.
what if you make a
Basil
mikveh
says
sink?
that a cup like that you don't have to put in the mikveh. It's okay. You can use it as it is, even though it has this little. It's okay. It has a hefsher. It has a basil hefsher on it. Beishamai said that we don't go by that hefsher. That cup needs to be put in the mikveh. That's exactly what we're discussing. Yeah. Okay. So Taner Rabbanu was son in the Bais. Bishami Mekneched b'map nichal shulchan. You put the napkin on the table. Shema Taimer ala kesses. If you put it on the chair, on the cushion, Gezer Shem Yitmu Mashkin Shebemapa. There's a decree. Maybe the liquid that's in the mappa will become tamei machmas kesses because of the chair, because the chair could be was tamei. And then he's going to wipe his hands again on it. It's going to touch his hands. And the tamei kesses. Okay. Now the Gemara asks, why did you say that the liquid in the cloth is going to become tamei? Let the cushion make the mappa tamei directly. Gemara says, "Ein keli mitame keli." A vessel doesn't make another vessel. Tamei, just like that. It's not an avatama. It's a rishon, but it's not going to make a vessel can't be a sheni. Okay. Benatami kesses legavra gufei. Why doesn't the cushion make the person tummy? And Kalim tummy other? It can't. It doesn't work like that. The kesses is probably a sheni. It doesn't make the person tummy, a secondary tummy. Basil says the other way, that you put it ala kesses. Shema ta'imer ala shulchan. If you put the napkin on the table, maybe the liquid that's in the napkin is going to become tummy because of the table. It's going to make the food tummy. You're putting it right next to the food. The Gemara says, "Well, tummy shulchan alchan shebasechus." Why are you worried that the table's going to make the food tummy? It says, "Hacha b'shulchan sheni askina." The sheni, the shulchan is the secondary tumah. The sheni is the shlisha b'chulin. And we're not dealing with truma here. We're dealing with regular food, and there is no such thing as a third level of tumah by regular food, by mundane food. Only by truma has a third level of tumah. So a second level of tumah could make a third, but that's only by truma, and here we're not dealing with truma. There is no third level of tumah by chulin. Elal yedei mashkin, unless it goes through liquid. So what we're talking about here is that the napkin is going to be the conduit for the tumah to go from the table to the food. But my commission, we need to summarize what's going on. What's the machlekes?
So the dampness of
The dampness of the cloth.
is just considered like liquid.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure that Bishamai Savri, Bishamai holds. Bishamai holds. Also, the Stamis B'Shulchan Sheni. Bishamai says he can't use a table like that anyway. Because there's a decree. Maybe someone that eats truma is going to end up using that table. You can't use those tables. You have to right away put it in the mikveh before you use it. You're allowed to use a table like that, Basil holds. And therefore, you have to be worried about the napkin. What are you concerned? People that eat truma are going to use it? People that eat truma are much more careful than that. They're not going to, we're not worried about them. Dover acher, another interpretation. Ein netilas yadayim l'chulin min haTorah. Washing the hands for chulin is not biblical. Mar says, "My davaracha, what is that coming to tell me?" Says Hachi Kamerlu Basil Beishamai. Basil is telling Beishamai the following: the Chitamer, if you'll say, "Maishna Gabi Eichlin," the Cheshinan. Why is it that for food you have to wash your hands? For food, we're worried that the food may become tamei. But the hands were not worried. What does this mean? What does it mean with food? Is this Beis Hillel's food that it's going to get tummy through the napkin? what is the difference between food that we are concerned about a contracting tumah from the liquid in the napkin, but the hands we're not concerned. Now, there's the hands you're using the napkin that became tummy. We're not concerned about the hands becoming tummy. You're only concerned about the food becoming tummy. Afilu hachi ha'adifa. Nevertheless, it's still better to be concerned about the food and not the hands. Why? Because washing of the hands is not a biblical concern. It's better that the hands should become tummy by using a napkin. That's tummy, the less luika midaraisa, because that doesn't have a basis in the Torah. But the food, that shouldn't become tummy because that has a basis in the Torah where food could yes become tummy. So what comes out? Beishamai says that he put it on the table because he's worried that the hands are going to become tummy from the chair. Because you're allowed to use a chair that's tummy, but you're not allowed to use a table that's tummy. So to keep everything off the chair. And Basil says no. You're allowed to use a table that's tummy. So don't put the napkin on the table, put the napkin on the chair, because the napkin could become tummy from the table and touch the food. He says, but even if the napkin doesn't touch the food, but it's touching your hands, Basil says hands is not a biblical concern. Food is a biblical concern if it becomes tummy, even though this is only a rabbinic tumah, but food could become tummy like that biblically. Bishami says that first you clear away the crumbs before you wash my machreinim. Basil says first you wash my machreinim and then you clear away the crumbs. Tanu Rabbana was taught in the Bais. Bishami says first you clear away the crumbs. Mechabdim is to sweep the house, and then you wash your hands. Because if you say that you wash your hands first, you're going to drip the liquid from my machreinim onto the crumbs. Aval netilas yadayim lebeshamai tchila leisvirlo. But Beishamai doesn't hold that you do. What's that aval there? Supposed to take this out. We take out those words. Okay. That if the shamish is a Talmud Chacham, so Neitel Pirurim Sheish Bem Kazayas, Miniach Purim Shem Bem Kazayas. If the servant is a Torah scholar, so he'll know to take away the crumbs that are the size of an olive, those pieces, and he'll leave the crumbs that are smaller than that. And this is a proof to something that Rabbi Yochanan says. Rabbi Yochanan says, crumbs that are not the size of an olive, you're allowed to throw them out. We're careful not to throw away bread. Right? We let it go stale and molded before you throw it away. Unless, whatever it is, you wrap it up and put it in a napkin or something. But if it's under a kazayas, it's not a problem. You don't have to save all of those crumbs. Crumbs that are under a kazayas, you can sweep them up, put them in the garbage, give them to the birds. But my kamiflagi, what's the machlaikas over here? Basil Savri, also the Shnamis B'Shamish Amaretz. Basil says that you're not allowed to use a Shamish that's an Amaretz. You have to hire a worker that's a Talmud Chacham. So therefore, he's going to know to separate the crumbs that are the size of the kazayas, and then you can wash my machreinim, because he's going to remove all of them, and it's not going to get dirty. B'Shamai Savri, Mutal Shnamis B'Shamish Amaretz. B'Shamai holds, you don't have to check your workers, you don't have to give them a smicha test before they become a waiter. So therefore, he's gonna leave the crumbs that are the size of a kazayas on the table, and you're gonna wash my machreinim. They're gonna get dirty. They're gonna spoil that bread. Rabbi Hanina says, Rabhuna, the kula pirkan halacha k'beisila. In this whole chapter, the halacha is like beisil bar miha, the halacha k'beishamai, except for this, where we paskin like beishamai, where you wash netilas yadayim after you sweep. Rabbi Shemasni Yibcha. Rabbi says the other way. The way this works is like this. Rabbi said that he changed the opinions around. He says that Beis Shammai holds that you do Netilas Yadayim first, and then you sweep. And he said Beis Hillel said the other way. So therefore, it comes out that yes, it would go like this. This one would go like Beis Shammai, but it turns out that the halacha would be the same. That for us it would be going like Beis Hillel. Okay. Shammai Yomi Ner Mazon. Shammai says that first you do the candle, then you do the Brachos Daf, then you do the Besamim, and then you do Havdalah. This is if you have one long benching together with Havdalah. Rav Huna Bar Yehuda Ikla Lebei Rava. Rav Huna Bar Yehuda is at the house of Rava. Chasya LeRava the Baruch HaBesamim B'Reish. He sees that Rava says that the bracha on the Besamim at the very beginning. Amalei Mechti. He says 1 second. Beishamai Beisil Amar Lei Pligi. No one argues about the candle, that the candle goes first. The Tanya was taught in a Bais. So Beishamai Yomrim, supposed to be the Tanan, it was taught in our Mishnah. Beishamai say, Ner Umazon Besamim V'Avdalah. Candle, Birkas Hamazon, spices, and then Havdalah. Still, I mean, Ner Besamim Mazon V'Avdalah. They still say Ner, the candle, then the spices, and then the Birkas Hamazon, and then Havdalah. So the whole machlekes is Besamim and Mazon. You just switch. Birkas Hamazon and Besamim. That's the whole machlekes. But Rava made the bracha on the candle. He made the bracha on the Besamim instead of the candle, which was according to Rav Huna Bar Yehuda. That's incorrect. So Ani Rava Basrei, Rava responded, Zu Divrei Reb Meir. That's the machlekes of Beishamai and Beisil according to Reb Meir. Aval Reb Yehuda Imer Leinechleku Beishamai and Beisil Ala Mazon Shubetchila Vala Avdal Shubesayf. But Rabbi Yehuda argues, and he says that the machlekes between Beishamai and Beisil is regarding Alma Nechleku Ala Mar Vala Besamim. It's only regarding the candle and the spices. Beishamai said first you do the candle, and then you do the spices. Beisil says that you do spices and afterwards candle, but they don't argue about the Birchas Hamazon and Havdalah. So Rabbi says that you do Besamim first, like Beis Hillel. Rabbi Yochanan Nago Ham to Beis Hillel. Rabbi Yochanan says that the people are accustomed to like Beis Hillel. I'll leave it to Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, let's leave it over here.
Yeah. Why do you show your fingernails on the sorry.
There's a few answers.
Yeah.
One is you're looking at the
Thank you.
nails, one is you get, I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.